Hello, hello. Can you all hear me? Make sure you all can hear me. Let me know. If you were here last week, I give everyone 5 minutes to get into the live. So while we wait for them to join in, drop down in the comments where you are located. And also, tonight we're going to be talking about how to get your first NEMT broker contract. So every state is different. Okay, every state is different. So make sure you drop in the chat where you're located. Okay. If I don't know personally about your state, I'm pretty sure I have someone in my network that does. Okay. Now, last week I had some issues with Facebook. So, Facebook, if you are here, please drop something in the comments because last week there were quite a few of you all on Facebook, but the whole time I was on live, I did not see any type of traction until after I got off. So, I'm not sure what that's about. Let me see actually. Okay. Um, sure. Okay. All right, I got everything on. Okay. Facebook, if you are asking questions and you see that I'm not responding to you, if you can hop over to TikTok or YouTube, I'm on there live as well. Okay. Oh, okay, Dallas. Dexter, were you at the NIMSAC conference that was in Dallas, or did you get to come to the NJ Reliable Mixer? Aw, thank you. I love giving out content. I do. I do. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. TikTok, where are you all from? I don't see. Let me see. No. Okay. All right. We'll give people a few more minutes to get in here. I hope you all have your questions written down because this time goes fast. So whatever questions you all have, make sure you are prepared with those so that we can get to them. Okay. Ah, okay, okay. Well, we'll be doing a combined mixer this year in Orlando for the conference. So if you're going to be out there this year, pull up on us. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. I have a feeling that y'all are leaving me comments here on TikTok, but for some reason, I just see people joining. I don't see. Let me see. All right. No. Mm, okay. Also, if you all can let me know again where you are in the process. Are you looking for a van? Are you researching? Are you looking to get on with brokers? Are you looking to start with private pay? Because this call directly is about broker contracts. So this is going to be how to get your first broker contract. I'm sorry, y'all. My dog had bit the trash and I had to put it on top of this, and I did not realize how much is in my background. I don't think it's on TikTok, but YouTube and Facebook, it's definitely on here. Give me 1 second. Oh my God, okay. If you have a dog, you know. All right, we're gonna give them one more minute to get in here. and then we'll go ahead and get started. If you are not in the Facebook group, please make sure that you join the Facebook group. It's the same handle, that NEMT girl. And it's the same handle on TikTok, YouTube, as well as Instagram. So for YouTube this year, I'll be doing more interviews with other collaborators for NEMT in the space, whether it's for software, whether it's for vehicles, anything that I feel my target audience is going to be needing. I'm definitely trying to collaborate with those people to bring you what you need. So I want you all to be more interactive in the chat, and also shoot me DMs and let me know what type of content that you're looking for, because I have an idea of what I want to put out, but what I feel like you all need may not be what you actually need. So let me know, okay? And with that being said, it is time for us to roll right into it. So I am going to go ahead and get right into how you get your first NEMT broker contract. And it's really important because a lot of times, even for those of you all who know, I do coach for NEMT, and I help those that are interested in getting to the industry starting the right way. The problem that I run into with some of my mentees is that you all have a idea in your head of how you want things to go, and I love that. However, just because you have a website, just because you bought the van, does not mean that contract is just going to come and land in your lap. It's not. And that's why a lot of people feel frustrated and stagnant when they have this van, they have these new sets of bills, and the money is not flowing the way they needed to or wanted to. So we're getting into all of that tonight. Again, make sure you have your questions written because we got time and it's going to go fast. So first things first, the biggest mistake that a lot of new providers do when they jump into this industry is they get excited and they buy the van first. And they look for the brokers that are in their area. And sometimes those brokers are not accepting new providers in that area. And the brokers that are accepting new providers with the standards that you may have, such as one vehicle, every broker is different. Some brokers may require you to have 4 vehicles. So the broker that is in your area that does accept providers with one vehicle, they may not be accepting new providers at that time. So that forces you to be put in the box, and you're trying to figure it out. Okay, do I purchase more vehicles? Do I, try to increase my insurance rate? And you have to do a lot of groundwork first before you make such a big purchase. I don't know if you all are paying attention to the market right now, but everything is high. Everything. So when you're talking about a vehicle, even when you're buying from a private dealer, that's going to be high. So before you invest that money, you want to make sure that you understand what you're doing. Okay. I will say the biggest expense that you're going to have in this industry is going to be after you purchase your van, after you purchase your van, the biggest expense you're going to have in this industry is going to be your insurance, your fuel, and your payroll. However you grow in the beginning is going to be how you end. And you want to think about that because you don't want to go out here and invest in your baby. And I always say your business is your baby because you're literally birthing something, right? You're creating it from ground up. You are constructing how it's going to go. This is your baby. So you don't want to invest so much in your baby and your baby doesn't perform the way you want it to or the way that you envision. So okay, I want you all to put your questions in the chat, but I want to give as much as I can before we hop to the questions because, our time is limited. So moving on to the next one. If you were here last week, I had my points. I still have my points this week, so I want to make sure I get through those. And also, I'll get to the questions, but don't stop putting them in the chat because I want to make sure I go back through those when we get to the question part, okay? And again, I'm going through 3 different screens. I have TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook here. So if you see me switching around, that's why. All right. So that's the biggest mistake first is purchasing a van. What you need to do is you have to research what brokers are in your area. Again, all of you all are from different states. So I will use Dexter in Dallas, for example. Dexter, You have Safe Ride, you have ProCare, you have MCM. Okay. And so each broker out of the three that I just named, they all have different requirements. They all have different insurance requirements. They all have different vehicle requirements. They all have different vehicle year requirements because some brokers require you to have a vehicle within a certain amount of years. For example, one call, you have to have that vehicle no older than 12 years. So you may go out and see a great deal on a 2010. We're in 2026. So that vehicle is 16 years old, which is going to put you out of the loop. Okay. Um, Now, with that information, you need to do your research to know what are their insurance limits. And you really have to be honest with yourself. How much can you afford? What is in your budget? If you have $1,200 to pay for your commercial insurance a month, and you know that if you tap into anything higher than that, that may put you in the hole. Maybe you should wait a little bit. What's the rush? Why are you rushing the birth of your baby? You have to ask yourself those questions. Why are you rushing it? Because anything that's rushed and forced is not going to be good in the end. No, it's not. So you really have to take your time and do a lot of self-reflection throughout this process, because if you have not been an entrepreneur before, or you have not been in the transportation industry before, it's a different ballgame. Okay. And I want you all to really think about that and take it seriously, because that is the reason that I talk to a lot of you all and you're frustrated because your van is sitting, you're spending money. I'm sorry, y'all. It's spring season. I have a lot of plants in my house too. So if you see a gnat flying around, that's the reason as well. But anywho, so you really have to consider that when you dive into this, because I don't want y'all to fail. I want you all to make money. I want you all to be able to start something else, birth something else, and just know that this is running smoothly. But it can't run smoothly if you come out the gate swinging incorrectly. Okay. So once you do your research and you find out who is accepting new providers in your area, then you can start saying, okay, these are their requirements. This is what I have to have for this. That's when you can start shopping. Yeah, that's when you can start shopping. Okay. I don't want you to go out here and get a van and it's sitting in your driveway for 2 months because we do have, okay. Sorry, y'all, I got excited because I didn't see anything coming through on TikTok, but I see some chatter going now. Okay. So you don't want to have that van just sitting. Okay. And so you want to make sure you do the proper research first. So once you do the research, now you can go shopping. So when you go shopping, if you all have been following me, you know I'm a firm advocate for at least your first few vans being rear entry manual ramp vans. And if you don't know why I say that, I'm going to tell you now. You can go out and get something that's electric, but once that motor goes out, how are you getting the people in there? Move, Nat. It's the same Nat. How are you getting the people in the van? If the ramp is down, if the motor is down. You're not. That van is only going to be good for ambulatory clients. And if you know, in this industry right now, it's a whole transition going on with ambulatory clients and NEMT. And it's been going on for some years, at least 3. But it's been very aggressive in the past year and a half, where an ambulatory client is being sent an Uber or a Lyft. And you know why that makes us so angry in this industry? Because our insurance is so high. But an Uber driver doesn't have to have that type of insurance. And they still get to pick up our clients. So if your ramp goes down, you're not making as much money as you could have been with that ramp being up. Also, when you have rear entry, 9 times out of 10, you are able to get more than one wheelchair client in that vehicle. Able to get 2. Why is this important? Why does this matter? Well, say for instance, Miss Jones lives close to Mr. Hicks, and they're both in wheelchairs. Well, Now you're able to multi-load those clients and make the income for two. You're not going to pick up one, drop off another, and then going to pick up the other one and drop off that one. You're not doing that. You're able to multi-load. Whereas if you have side entry, you don't have that flexibility. You know, you get one client in at a time, and they're a caretaker or a loved one. Whoever is riding with them can sit on the back bench. But you're not able to get two wheelchair clients in a side entry van. So you're not maximizing your profitability off of that van whatsoever. Okay? So when you're shopping, consider that. All right? Also, how you shop, it matters. Again, you have to be honest with yourself. How much money do you have to spend on this vehicle? And how are you going to pay for it? Are you paying cash? Are you financing? Have you checked your credit to see what score you have? Have you shopped around, or have you just gone to one dealership? Or are you going to a private dealer? And if so, what is your plan with a private dealer? Do you have a mechanic that's going to go with you to make sure that everything is good and checked away? These are just questions that you have to ask yourself, okay? Now, after we've gone shopping and we've located a vehicle, you don't necessarily have to buy it before you price your insurance quote. No. What you can do, get that VIN number, and you know the insurance limits that you have to have because you've done your research with the brokers before to see what their requirements are, right? So you have your resources, and you're able to contact the insurance agent to see what that quote is going to be. You all, I'm so sorry. It's just this one net, and it's just right here. Does anyone else have plants? If you do, drop something in the chat because you understand what I'm going through right now. But anywho, you're able to get that quote from the insurance agent to see how much you're paying. Now, for a commercial insurance quote, it's going to take a few days. It's not as quick as a consumer quote. But once you have that quote, you have a real idea of what your overhead is going to start off looking like. Okay? Because you're able to know how much the van is going to be, whether you're going to pay for it in cash or you're paying financing, or you're going to do financing. You're also able to know what you're looking at in insurance. Again, insurance, fuel, and payroll are going to be your top 3 expenses in your business after you get your van. Okay? So you want to have a real idea of what you're paying. Now, when it comes to applying to the brokers, there are things that you have to have in place before you are able to apply. Because they're going to go and check your stuff. And what I mean by that is check your website. They're going to make sure that you have an actual business line. Please do not put your personal cell phone number on that application. And hello? No. Because they're calling a business. So you have to be set up as a business. Because they're going to vet you. They have other providers applying to be within their network. And if you are coming out the gate, play, they're not going to take you serious. And they're not going to approve your application. So please make sure that you have your marketing material in place. Because outside of the brokers, I know this live is not about private pay, but outside of the brokers, you should always have your marketing in place. Brochures, business cards. If you can, some type of video or infomercial where that you can show the services that you offer, not just have people read about it. Again, I know everyone's budget is different, but a lot of people out here are good with technology, and Fiverr is always great as well. So utilize as many resources that are offered to you or that are within your budget so that you can maximize your visibility. Because in this day and age, digital marketing and accessibility is everything. Okay? Top tier. Now, in terms of the brokers that you can qualify for, you have to also be honest with yourself. Every broker has different requirements. Again, some require you to have 4 vehicles. Please do not put yourself in a hole of debt by going out here and buying vehicles just to satisfy a broker contract. I actually just had a call with someone who wanted to do that. And they weren't going to buy the right vehicle, and they were going to limit themselves to just one broker. And I need you all to understand, yes, the brokers are nice. You know, they send you trips and you don't have to go out here and market. But anything can happen. They can lose that contract with that healthcare plan. They can be revoked in that state. Anything. So you never want to put all of your eggs in one basket. You want to have as many brokers as you can qualify for and also manage quality. It's not just about the dollar, okay? Because you can get the contracts and lose them as fast as you get them, okay? It's about the quality. So be honest with yourself about what you can manage and maintain where you are in business right now, okay? All right. So now, once you get the van, you have the insurance, you did the broker application, you get approved. Okay? You get approved. What's next? Well, now you have to manage the contract. Now you have to manage it. So if you are starting off behind the wheel, I need you to know when they are calling you, they can hear the wind in that van driving. Okay? If you have a client in the car and a broker is calling you for something else, maybe another trip, maybe an update on another client, and you're the one answering that phone, how does that look to a client that is in your backseat? How does that look? Not professional. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. And what they would do is call the broker and complain about you. You don't want to come out the gate with that type of reputation. You do not. Because the brokers work off of metric systems. So they'll send you trips. Okay. And if you work your way up in the metric system, the more they're going to send you. But when you start getting complaints, that number goes down. Because why am I going to send you or continue to send you trips when I know that you don't deliver quality? So again, it's not just about going out here and getting the broker contracts. It's about delivering a quality service as well. And I need you all to understand that. I really do. I really do. Okay. So we have quite a few questions. Again, Facebook, if you are, I know that y'all are on here. I don't know why I'm not seeing you all's comments. I have no idea. Let me see. Yeah, comments aren't hitting. I don't know. But if you have some questions, you can meet us over on YouTube or TikTok because we have quite a few over here. So I want to go ahead and jump into a few of those. Let's see. Oh, get Zevo. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So, okay, I needed to. Miki, where are you located? Oh, this net. I'll get the Zevo. Thank you for that. I make my own concoction last year, but um this year I haven't made it yet, and they're just like really showing up. Okay. Um. Okay, nice. Dexter, you said you have secured a cash van and you're currently marketing for private pay clients or clients in general. Okay, so do you have a side entry or rear entry? And also, how have you done some of your marketing efforts? What are some of the things that you've tried? Also, I would like to know, how has Jersey been for you? Um, oh no, I'm sorry. Okay. Do you have any tips or info on applying or getting approved for medical in California? Okay, I'll stick to this one first. So I do know that in California, you all have an advantage that we don't have out here in Georgia, which is you are able to bill Medicaid directly. I wish we had that. So I do know that you have to apply for your Medicaid number. That process, because they used to have that process in Florida, um, and recently they changed that. But what you can do is apply for your Medicaid number. I will say I'm not as well versed in California because that system is totally different out there. I would 100% refer you to Monica and Jasmine because that is their territory. They are located in California. And if you would like, I can connect you with those two. Okay, are there any brokers? Oh, this is a great question, Dexter. Are there any brokers that you recommend not approaching for a new company with only one vehicle? Yeah. Uh, and I will say there are two reasons. One can be delayed payment, and one can be just a waste of time because they're going to require you to have more than one vehicle, right? So there are a few brokers out here that are going through some legalities, who have a reputation for being known for delayed payments. And you want to make sure that you are maximizing your efforts as much as possible with the people that actually pay and that actually have the volume to keep you going and keep your vans floating, right? Um, if you all are familiar with Motive Care, you all know that they have gone through another bankruptcy filing, and to my knowledge, they're not accepting new providers at this time. I know up until the end of last year they were, but right around, I believe, July or August is when the bankruptcy and the lawsuit started going on. So that's one that you will want to stay away from simply because of all the legalities, the lack of acceptance of new providers, and the delayed payments. Especially as a new provider with one vehicle, you cannot afford to have a delay in payments. You really can't. And for those of you all on the call, on the live tonight that are not familiar with how the payments with brokers work, they are not instant. Okay. You don't do a trip today and get paid tomorrow. That's not how it works. You can get net 14, net 21, net 30. Some do net 45. And what that means is from the day that you submit the invoice, not the day that you do the trip, you have to submit that invoice. From the day that you submit the invoice, you will get paid 14 days, 21 days, 30 days, or 45 days from that. And some brokers have a cycle. So whatever invoices fall within that cycle is when you'll get paid for those trips. Okay. Which is why I always encourage my mentees to submit your invoices every day. That should be one of the tasks that you do every day at close of day. If not every day, if it's just you or you have a lot of things going on, at least pick a day at the end of the week, whether it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that you submit all the invoices from that week to the brokers, the facilities, the clients, whoever, whether it's private pay or broker pay. Try your best to do it each day. But again, I understand because I'm a 1 week girly. Okay. I do mine every Monday. That's the day I do it. But I would encourage you to do it every day if you can. Truthfully. Um, Sorry, going back to your question. There are a few other brokers that have been known to not pay out on time. CareCar, Avo. Um, There's another one on the tip of my tongue. It's gonna come back to me. But you don't want to get approved with a broker that you have to chase for payments. They need to be consistent. Okay. If you have to chase a broker for payments, 9 times out of 10, there's something going on behind the scenes that you really don't want to be a part of. You know. So those would be the ones that I recommend to stay away from. If you are a new provider, simply because of payment. Now, if you're starting off with one vehicle, like you asked, simply because they're going to ask you for more than one call, MTM, MTI. You're going to have more than one vehicle. And I know off the top, MTI is all of their vehicles have to be within a 10-year time frame, and one call, all of them have to be in a 12-year time frame. I think MTM is 10 years, but don't quote me on that. I know for sure MTI is. I know for sure one call is 12, but I think MTM is 10 years as well. So if you don't have those vehicles, do not go out and just purchase those vehicles just because. Do not. You need to have a plan. If you have that capital to go out and purchase 4 vehicles, you need to invest enough at least a portion that you would spend for one vehicle into your private pay marketing, digital ads. Get a team to go out there and get you some hospital contracts if you have that capital. I'm not discouraging if you do, but you want to not, if you have that capital, don't put all your eggs in the basket of a broker. Go out there and market for private pay. But this is specifically for those that are speaking about brokers. Okay, let me go through the questions over here on TikTok. I'm still, okay. All right. Okay. Galaxy, you're in Eastern North Carolina. Okay. Now, are you started up? Do you have any brokers, or are you doing your research right now? What phase are you in? Okay. Okay, I'm doing um like, do you have any info about getting approved for trips from regional center clients with IDD? Um can you break down what is IDD? Break that acronym down for me. We got a lot going on in the medical field. I need you to break that down for me. All right. While you do that, let me go back to Dexter for a second. I'm doing face-to-face marketing to facilities in my area and also networking with other NEMT providers for overflow rides. That is a great tactic. That's a great tactic, especially for those providers that have a smaller fleet. They always have overflow. So that's a great tactic. I would also recommend some days just going down to the hospital and passing out things. You would be very surprised how many people have been sitting outside waiting for a ride and would love to know about your service. You'll be very surprised. Now, I will say I recommend if you have the time, and again, this is not about private pay. The live is not about private pay, but I want to just put this tidbit in there. If you have the time and the flexibility to dedicate at least 2 days a week to hit the pavement and go out there and sell yourself, because they don't know that you're there unless you go open your mouth. Okay. You have to go talk about your business. Also, you have to invest in digital ads. You have to. You have to. Because the average person that is looking for your services, they are on Google or Yelp. Okay. They're not scrolling through Instagram looking for a wheelchair ride. It's nice to know about your services through Instagram, but 9 times out of 10, your target client is going to be on Google or Yelp. Okay. All right, y'all, I need some more questions. I need some more conversation. What's going on? Am I missing some stuff over here? I know I'm missing on Facebook. And Facebook, I hope that you can join on TikTok or YouTube because we had this problem last week. I want to have to look into this more to see why I don't see my comments and stuff here. Oh, wait, I see. Okay. Okay. All right. I have a rear entry, but only one 4-point tie down. That means only one wheelchair, correct? Asking because you said at least 90% can fit. Okay. So what you're saying is, is it Tania or Tanea? I don't know, mess your name up. I'm sorry. But you're saying you have one set of Q strength. So you have four, but you only have one set. So if that's the case, yes, you would need to get another set. You would need to get another set. Okay, Dexter, you said I am meeting with the facility tomorrow that told me their clients are low income, so they are Medicaid, Medicare. How difficult is it to get approved for Medicaid for a new provider? I will be honest with you. I've seen it take up to 90 days. I've seen it take sometimes even longer than that. The problem is, especially right now, there are a lot of changes that are going on with Medicaid and Medicare. So their offices are really trying to figure out things in real time, and so that's been delayed with having someone get back to you and to really be on top of your application. So that has been the big hiccup. Of course, you all know it's a lot going on right now in terms of trying to get someone in the office. I've been trying to get a hold of some IRS documents for at least a month now. But it's not a tedious process. It's just a lengthy process. You have to have patience. So what I would suggest to you is definitely go to the meeting for sure. You don't miss that meeting. Gather as much info as you can. Have you started that process of getting your Medicaid number or getting approved for Medicaid at all? Oh, it's a nay. Okay, gotcha. I'm Malik. I'm sorry. I'm not. I hope I'm not pronouncing your name incorrectly, but get back to me on that with your question. I need more info on what you mean. Okay, what tips do you have on approaching facilities that do not currently arrange rides for their client? So I will I will give you a backstory on two facilities that we have what I call leisure contracts with. We take their residents on grocery shopping trips twice a month. And so they are two 55-year-old independent senior living facilities. And so they did not provide transportation for them prior to our services, but it's all in how you sell it. Okay. And for a property manager that has a little petty cash or a little wiggle room in the budget to work with, that has had residents asking about transportation, but they may not have had the time to look into a company. They may not have had the time to do their research, and they just never got to it. The moment that you come knocking on their door and you have a good proposal on what you can offer them and it can fit into their budget, that's what you want to snag. You want to snag those. How many passenger seats do you have in your van? The main benefit that you would discuss with them is it's a selling point for new residents that come to apply for their property. They can also say, hey, we have this housing available. We provide transportation. That's a selling point for new tenants coming to a property. So they can't say that if they don't have your services to offer, right? So you want to make sure that you're selling it to them as it's a benefit for them and their residents. It's not just for you to make money, it's a benefit for their residents. And it makes them look good. Who doesn't want to look good? Right? So it makes the property look good that they can provide a transportation service with their housing. And it's independent living, but at the same time, We offer this service for those that don't have vehicles, that don't have access, that don't want to catch the bus, that don't feel comfortable in Uber or Lyft. We offer that here at our property. And you got to stand 10 toes down when you sell it. You have to really sell it. Okay. I had to get better at sales. I still don't think I'm as good at sales as I want to be, but I've gotten a lot better than what I was. So you have to feel confident in what you're selling and know how you can benefit that property or that facility. And you don't just limit it to independent living. I'm just giving you my example for the question that you asked. For properties that don't provide transportation and they want to, have, or you want to get in there with them, or they want to have that angle now with their tenants or their clients. All right. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, let me know the things that you all want to see, because I don't want to just come on here putting out content. I know next week I'm not going live, but we'll be back that second Tuesday in May. And then I haven't put the lineup together yet for May, but if you all let me know what you want to see, we can make that lineup together. Okay. All right. Also, let me know if there's anyone that you would like to see on the YouTube channel. I had just finished up. I have to finish editing it. It's a interview with James from Duet. He's the co-founder of Duet. And if you all haven't heard of Duet, you will learn about them soon. It'll be on my YouTube. I'm actually going to be editing it throughout the rest of today and tomorrow. Hopefully, I can get it up by the end of this week. Don't hold me to that, y'all. I still run my business full time as well. But, I try to make sure I get this consistently up for you all. With that being said, back to Dexter. Dexter, I need you to start that process like today, okay? Because like I said, it's a lengthy process. So if you're going in here to have these meetings with people, you want to make sure that you have your ducks in a row. You don't want to come in here and you have these people that they have the Medicaid insurance that, allows them to get the rides and you can bill them directly, but you're still going through the process of getting credentialed. You want to make sure that you got your ducks in a row. So start that process because it is a lengthy process, okay? And if you have some questions, like I said, we don't get to bill Medicaid here directly, but I would definitely direct you over to the people that I know in the states that can, okay? Because that's a good benefit. And I wish we could, but unfortunately, if you are not familiar, here in Georgia and a lot of other states, not recently in Georgia, but years ago, it was some fraud going on. And so they enforced a broker system here in Georgia. And so we're not able to bill Medicaid and Medicare directly. So you want to make sure that because you can, you take advantage of that for sure. For sure. Okay, the brokers in my area aren't accepting new. Tanae, I think this. I don't know if it's the same person on TikTok or not, but which area are you in? And I want to touch on that for a second. Fashionable Naya on TikTok said she heard that she didn't really want to work with brokers because she heard they pay very little. And I do want to touch on that for a second. So the broker is going to take a percentage of your money. Yes, they're the middleman. So you have the client here or the insurance here, the broker, and then the provider, right? So when you are starting out or when you have those gaps to fill in, why not? You want to diversify your portfolio as much as possible. So when you are starting off with just private pay, it's not a bad thing at all. It's just going to take you longer. So if you're able to fill in the gaps with the brokers, why not? While you build your private pay. You should never put all of your eggs in one basket. You should never put all your eggs in a broker. You should never put all your eggs in private pay unless you have just that great of an opportunity. But for me personally, I believe in diversifying my portfolio as much as possible. And I will give you the setup of my team. I have two sets of teams. I have a full-time team and I have a part-time team. The full-time team drives my fleet vans. My part-time team drives their personal vehicles for ambulatory clients. Okay. And so, with that being said, we are able to bounce from private pay and broker pay. We're able to diversify our financial portfolio because we have the fleet to do so. So, if you don't have the fleet or the budget to wait for your private pay to build up while you go, sorry, I gotta pop up here on Facebook. While you go and build your private pay, why not go with a broker that's gonna give you that volume to sustain while you build it? Now I understand that everyone is not a fan of going out here and doing work and somebody's taking a portion of your money. I get it. I get it. But my mantra for me and my team is to diversify our portfolio as much as possible. Um Coach, this is Mary. I would like to hear more about software for the provider. Okay, there are a lot of different software. So, are we talking about routing software? Are we talking about CRM software? Are we talking about billing? What kind of software are we talking about? Give me a little bit more insight. Um, do you know if Indiana can bill directly? I do not know off the top of my head, but if you send me a DM, I will help you with that. Okay, I will definitely help you with that. Um, what other insurance carriers do you have experience working with that provide NEMC benefits? I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand your question. What other insurance carriers do you have experience working with that provide NEMC benefits? Do you mean like private insurance companies that allow the clients to bill directly? Um, if that's what you mean, I know for sure Humana and Cigna. So we have an extra. I get this question a lot. The question is, how does insurance work for your drivers using their personal vehicles? So we have an additional umbrella insurance policy on top of the commercial umbrella policy that we have, and it's always listed in terms of how you have it on your COI. So we have for hire policy, and so that allows us to have our drivers to drive their own vehicles, but still have our umbrella policy increase for any type of incidents that could come up, to cover not only the business, but our client. Now, in terms of their vehicle, they have to have that limit that we require for their commercial insurance. They can't just have their personal insurance. They have to have their own commercial policy as well. But for our commercial liability, we increase our umbrella policy and also make sure we have that for hire policy as well. Okay. Um, Now we are running over time, so I want to answer a couple of more questions, and then we're gonna get out of here. Okay. So also natural routing software for billing, routing, GPS. This is for future lives. Okay, great. So Duet actually does all of one. But everyone has a different platform. My company, we use NEMC platform, and so I've been with NEMC platform since 2020. But if you're asking for different software, like I said, we're going to be dropping this interview on YouTube. Like I said, hopefully by the end of this week. Um, but that you'll be able to dive into more of what Duet offers, and they actually offer all of what you're asking for in one. It just depends what works for you right now and where you are in your business. All of my brokers are different in terms of billing. So the billing feature that Duet has, it wouldn't necessarily benefit me right now. I think that would benefit us maybe later on down the line, but for right now, it doesn't necessarily benefit us. Our corporate contracts that we have, they're able to go in, and when they insert a trip for a work order, our software automatically calculates it and gives us the total quote that we have for that trip. So, that's something that we kind of already have with NEMC platform. It's just a different rollout with Duet. And once you start getting into demos with different software companies, you'll be able to see that they all kind of do the same thing, but all in a different way. And so you have to figure out, and they all have a different price point. Some price per vehicle, some price based on volume. So you also have to know where you are in your business to know what you need right now. Okay. All right. So we are rolling over time. I do apologize, but we will be back not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. I believe that's May the 11th. And I want to apologize to anyone that was signed on last night. I was not able to do my live last night. We had a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and I was running over. So I do apologize for anyone that tried to log in, but I wanted to make sure I got on here tonight for you all to make sure that we dove into the topic. You all had some really, really great questions. Thank you. I really appreciated that because uh, because that is something that keeps the conversation going. You know, it keeps the convo and making sure that everyone just feeds off of each other. You know, we have Indiana, we have Dallas, we have LA. You all don't know what that person needs help with. That's the same thing that you need help with, right? So don't be shy. Don't be scared to ask your questions. I love to talk to you all. Slide in my DMs. I will be rolling out. I will be rolling out. Finally, it is done. My new website. It will be coming out in May. I'll be announcing that for you all. I'll put a lot of posts about that on my social media pages. If you are not following me on the platforms, please make sure you do so. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. They're all the same handle, that NEMT girl. My website is www.thenemtgirl. Okay. So if you have any questions, drop in my DMs, check me out. Check out my old content as well, because some of those questions that you may have can be answered from some of those videos. Okay. I have stuff all on YouTube, all on TikTok, all on Instagram. So if you have any questions, slide in my DMs. I love when we get together, and I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Okay. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great rest of the week. We got 2 more days until we get to the weekend, y'all. Okay. Just 2. All right. Have a good one. Bye.